All right, let's get right into it. It's been a hell of a week for our man Dillon Brooks. The last time we talked, the Memphis Grizzlies had been eliminated, and Dillon Brooks wanted somewhere to be extended, and there were talks about whether that would happen. And now we know for sure that the Memphis Grizzlies will not be extending Dillon Brooks. Why do we know that? Because according to Shams on Tuesday, under no circumstances would the Grizzlies be bringing back Dillon Brooks next year. Oh boy. Well, so the question, though, at this point is why under no circumstances, and who did Shams get the information from? Because on one side, you have the agents getting very upset, and then on the other side, you've got the Memphis Grizzlies getting upset. No more Dillon Brooks in Memphis. So first of all, we got a whole bunch of outlets coming out. The Grizzlies felt that it was very unprofessional that the Grizzlies would say that about a current player, which his agent fairly believes that it tanked Dillon Brooks' market for him. Nothing says you are more disposable than your current team saying under no circumstances will we bring you back. It was also reported by Ramona Shelburne after that Brooks was looking for $25 million a year. Bill Simmons, Kendrick Perkins, others, they came after the Grizzlies very hard. Perkins tweeted, "Yeah, y'all can laugh all and joke all you want. I don't see a damn thing funny when it comes down to how Memphis handled the player that gave his all to that organization for 3 years!" Exclamation, 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 exclamation. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Real talk. So yeah, everybody's pissed. No one is more pissed than Brooks' agent, Mike George. He tweeted out this, which I thought was wild. Shams Charania, the leader of spreading false news and attacking players. Why any player in the league talks to this guy blows my mind. This sounds like Jimmy Butler's agent that got really mad at Shams like 2 years ago. This little tempest in a teapot reached its peak when J.J. Redick decided to fill in for Stephen A. Smith and give his best Stephen A. Smith impression.
Making Dillon Brooks the scapegoat, but whoever put that language and approved that language in the tweet, yeah, that person wants to make Dillon Brooks the scapegoat. The reality is the Grizzlies have other problems besides Dillon Brooks. And whether they choose to bring him back or don't choose, or, whatever it may be, I can't remember a time in my now 17 years, either being in the NBA or covering the NBA, where we're in the second round of the playoffs, the day of a game where two of the greatest players ever are getting ready to square off, and we're just tweeting out things for engagement. Like, is that where we're at? Is that where? Actually, you know what? I'd be willing to bet.
I would be willing to bet that it wasn't the Grizzlies. I don't know who it was, actually, because the Grizzlies say it wasn't from us. We don't like this. Bringing a lot of heat on our organization. The agent's like, this guy's a clown. So I don't know. All I know is that Shams is a highly sourced reporter. So he got it from somebody. He does not come out with statements without a rock-solid source. So whoever gave him that inside info, I doubt we'll ever find out. But J.J. Redick, do not come after Shams Charania's integrity. The bigger question, though, is, now that this is all said and done and the dust has settled, where does Dillon Brooks end up? It's not Memphis. Given that the controversy, is his career actually damaged by this news about the Grizz not wanting him back? The answer is maybe. Short answer. He will 100% sign with the team next year. Will it be for the amount that he turned down, which was $18 million per year? Probably not. He might get somewhere closer to 11 or 12, which would be Dillon Brooks doing a Dennis Schroeder impersonation. Impressionation, that's what kind of day we are. An impression and an impersonation. And I'm sure he's going to likely help his next team a lot. I'm hearing Sacramento, Portland. The team that I haven't heard that I think would be an awesome fit for Dillon Brooks. A team that needs defense. A team that has a plethora of shooters already. Well, at least a couple of shooters that you can rely on in Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic is Dallas. I think Dallas would be an interesting spot for him. All three of those teams need defense. I think the Mavs are the best fit. Also, Houston. I think Ime Udoka would love the competitiveness of Dillon Brooks. He would take Dillon Brooks and mold him into his Marcus Smart and make him the leader and the firebrand of the defense. As for Memphis, what are they going to do? That's a big question. So you've already jettisoned him. You've given yourself no options in case you have no other wing to find. So you got to put your eggs in the OG Anunoby sweepstakes and maybe the Jeremy Grant sweepstakes. Probably would help the Grizzlies a lot. Either one of those guys. That is the problem, though. With publicly cutting ties with Dillon Brooks, you have no options. He plays a position that's very hard to replace. Are you going to replace Dillon Brooks with Luke Kennard full time? Ooh, it's a very in-demand position. You've got maybe go after Dorian Finney-Smith. Maybe go after Cam Johnson. Jeremy Grant. Maybe you bring back Jay Crowder as well. Jay Crowder's a very good defensive player. He didn't like his role in Milwaukee. Guys who can play two-way defense and hit a three. Everybody wants a 3-and-D player. I think the Grizzlies are going to have to regret how things worked out with them and Dillon Brooks because he was the longest tenured Grizzly there, and let's face it, he is not the reason that the Memphis Grizzlies flamed out. He was one of the reasons, but let's not act like the whole John Morant situation didn't happen. The bottom line is that Draymond Green is a fucking oracle. What did he say? He said 2 months ago, the dynasty starts after you, not with you. Whew. Not the last you'll hear of Dillon Brooks, Dillon the villain. It is the last you'll hear of him in a Grizzlies uniform.